Good evening and welcome to our Facebook Live this evening. My name's Jenny McCormack and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire in the UK. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We are continuing our use of my stamp set of the week, which is Sending Smiles, and I've been using this all week so far, and I've got something slightly different today in that we're going to be creating a background and using a little bit of the die cuts as well. And I've got a colour change too. Now this card was inspired by an American demonstrator, Alisa Tilsner, and she used Basic Grey and Daffodil Delight and I think a little bit of Mango Melody, and I just thought those three colours together are really stunning. And she created this card as a background, but used some elements of the Sending Smiles dies and obviously the sentiments to finish it off. So let me see, let's just make sure that everything is all operational and popping up where it should do. Seems to be. So thank you so much for joining us. If you are live, do say hi so that I know that you're here. I've done a small amount of preparation, not a great deal because I've not long been in, and suddenly it was like 10 to 7. I don't know how that happens, but it was. So the base card I'm going to use is probably going to be white, but I might change that. And then we've got a Daffodil Delight layer, and I'm cutting out the sending sentiment from the middle of that so as not to waste it. And on top of that, I'm placing a basic white layer that we're going to stamp up in preparation. So this is going to be our background, and then I've cut out the shadow part of sending, and that's going to go onto the top. So let's put these components away for the moment, and we're just going to work on here. Now I've got Smoky Slate, just a slightly softer grey, but I have picked out Basic Grey for my stamping, but it may be too dark, so I'm just going to have a look and see. So let's pop a piece of grid paper down. Hi Joe, hope you're well. So I'm going to be using Basic Grey for the foliage and then Daffodil Delight for the flowers. So on this stamp set, which has some lovely foliage, I'm just going to be using this one here and then a combination of the flower heads as well. Hi Dee. So let us get cracking, and for those of you that have been watching me for a while, you know that I do love yellow. So this would have been wrong one, a good choice. I think this would also be lovely with pink and grey. I think pink and grey is a really nice combination as well. So I'm going to start off by stamping some of the foliage and then adding the flowers into this. I just want to see how dark my Basic Grey ink pad is. Oh, it's not too dark, that's okay. Oh, that's perfect. I didn't want it to be too overpowering. So what I'm going to do is just literally stamp all over our background. I haven't decided which way my background is going to go, And so if you just keep rotating your stamp like so, or rotating the card, then it won't really matter which way I end up putting this. So I want some going sort of in different directions, and then I'm going to stamp the flowers in between these lovely grey images. So let's just pop a little one in there, and I'm trying to keep each one of these equidistant from the other, and so I use the rule of 3. So if you look at a triangle of 3 like so, you want them roughly the same distance from each other. Okay, it doesn't have to be exact, and that stops you getting very large areas where you've got gaps. Okay, so I'm going to move that out of the way for the minute, and I'm going to bring in my nice bright Daffodil Delight, like so, and a smaller block, and I'm going to use a combination of flowers. So this one, and possibly this one or this one, maybe these two, because they're sort of similar shapes. So let's grab that one there, and this one, and this one has a little center piece that we can stamp, or you could do what I did on some of my other samples, which is just to colour it in with a pen if you didn't want to do any more detail than that. So it's a nice beautiful evening this evening. I think straight after here I've got a little gap before a meeting online, so I might take the opportunity of taking Cassie dog out. So finding the larger gaps for this lovely flower, and again rotating it round so that my flowers are in different directions, which makes it a lot easier then when I come to place it on my card. I can swivel it round. So let's have this one that way round. I'm going to use this for the smaller flowers, like so. Just think that combination of grey and yellow, the same as pink and grey or a baby blue and grey, is really nice. Okay, I'm going to do the middles in a minute. Actually, I might change colour to Mango Melody, which is the darker orange, so more orange than yellow, but not as dark as our pumpkin pie colour. There we go, like so. Oops. And I want to get a little bit of this on the edge as well. And a little bit tight to put it in there. I don't want to squash it in because I have got, I do need space to put the sentiment. So if I've got a larger gap than normal, then I can always fill it in that way. Let me see, a little bit there. Okay, and then I'm also going to use this Mango Melody to fill in our centres. Didn't push that very hard on my block. Need to take my glasses off to see these. Okay. I could take this a shade darker, but I quite like this set of colours. Let's make that one look a bit more obvious. So I hope everybody's had a good day. I've had a busy day. And then I have a worldwide leaders meeting this evening. They're always good. That's with Stampin' Up. So it's an opportunity to connect with other Stampin' Up leaders around the world. Probably not from Australia at this time of day, but typically America, Canada and Europe. Okay, I think for my centres of these I'm going to use, maybe, I'm thinking a Poppy Parade. Really want a lighter one than that. Let me just grab a lighter pen. Or light sweet sorbet. Let's have a look. That would do. Just into these ones here, and this is because I lost the stamp that belongs to that. It is very tiny, literally about 3 millimeters across, so it's not surprising that I lost that one. Okay, so that's going to be our background. I just think that is so pretty, like that. And then I'm going to take our die cut from here, and I have put it on some self-adhesive sheet behind, and I've cut it out of the middle of this so that I can still use this card behind my stamped layer. So just want to poke those out a little bit. There we go. Hopefully that will come away. I might put this away at the same time. So I could have just used a scrap of card for that, but why not use what I've already got there? So I'm just taking this backing off, and this will act also then to glue this onto the base layer. There we go, like so. So what I'm going to do is stick that down before I stick it to anything else by mistake. So do say hi if you're joining us. I can't believe we're at Thursday evening already, but I swear I probably say that every week, so I do sound a bit like a broken record, don't I? So just putting a little extra glue around the outside of that. So this is just going to be our coloured layer behind our stamped layer. So these two are going to go like so. Now I think on Alicia's card she had this at a bit of an angle, like so. I've cut my layer a little bit too large to do that. I'm quite happy with it being straight. And I've got our sending here that I've cut in the same, in the grey. So what I'm going to do is just pop out my sending. Let's pop out those middle bits if I can. Doesn't want to come, does that? Got it. And that tiny one. The middle. Another one there. Okay, pop that one out. So now I've got my detailed sending, and obviously you could stamp this, just stamp it separately, or stamp it and pop it onto a die cut. Okay, I want to extract this without stretching anything. Okay, that's one bit. This is just the piece that I cut through. Okay, hope it's still live because Facebook's just kicked me off. Fingers crossed. So you just want to handle this carefully so you don't stretch your characters too much. She says. There we go. Got there. Right, so here's my base layer. So I'm just going to start from the left hand side and sort of fit this on. So I could use a darker piece, but I quite like this soft smoky slate. So just taking time to layer those in together. There we are. And I've still got the dot of the eye here. Now when I did this last time I lost it altogether, so I have got an alternative one on my finger. There we go. Let's just bring that back up. I might use this larger one, which is what I did before. There we go. That's the one actually, it comes from the E, centre of the E, so it's just a little bit bigger and easier to manipulate. Okay, so there is my sending. And then I'm going to use a bit of the grey and stamp perhaps in black my sentiment, or maybe I'll just use white and stamp in grey our sentiment. So for this one, I think we'll do a card to say hello. So let's grab that. Here it is. There we go. And I should have some die cuts ready that are like this that will fit. I just need to locate them. And here they are. So the small one will work for that. And what I might do is pop it on a larger grey die cut so that it stands out a little bit on there. So let's grab our basic grey. Just inking that up. Glasses are coming off. Pop that on there. So we've got a card to say hello. And I'm definitely going to put something behind that. So I think I'm just going to trim a piece of this to pop on there. Oh, there it is. Thought I'd lost it then. So, just going to measure the width of this, which is just under a centimetre. It's about 9 millimetres. Have a look. Yeah, that will work. So I'm going to pop that onto there with a little glue. Like so. And then I'll trim the layer behind to fit. I prefer to do it afterwards because then I can decide how much I want either side. If you cut it too short and then put it on, then you run the risk of it being a little bit too short. So I'm just going to cut this straight up on either side. Like that. So sending a card to say hello. Now I can decide where I want this to go. So I do have a little bit of a gap here. So I can pop that into that little gap there. Hi Brenda, thanks for joining us. So we're doing a bit of a creation of a background this evening with this same stamp set, Sending Smiles. So this is going to open up that way, and I think that will work perfectly, that little gap. And what I could do is add some die cut flowers as well if I wanted to, or just die cut some plain coloured flowers. So I'm going to pop this way. So the colours I've used are Daffodil Delight and Mango Melody. These two colours for the flowers. And then I've got Basic Grey, hi Tracy, as my backing colour. So no green foliage. It's all grey and yellows, but as I say, I think this would work with grey and pink, grey and pale blue, or even grey and a bright blue would work. So there's our background. Here's our sending, which I'm going to use over that little sort of, got more of a gap there. And then I've got my little sentiment there to go with it. I'm going to pop these up on dimensionals. There we go. I hope everybody's had a good day. Tracy, I hope your puppy is still doing well and behaving. Just going to cut some edges of my foam pads here. Okay. So, popping these in here. Oops, daisy. That went a little bit astray. Let's take that one off. Oh, bless her. So obviously the way you've trained her already. I mean, I know it's early days for puppies, but even so, I think it's one of those things, isn't it, when you instill that discipline into them to start with. And having two well-behaved dogs to keep an eye on her is probably a good thing too. Okay, so that's the back of my sentiment. This is the back of my sending. So I'm just using offcuts. If you've got mini dimensionals, then they would be perfect for this. You wouldn't have to cut it up, but it's no trouble to do that. Let's put this one on there. Okay, so just taking the backs off these. Now I think Alicia had some vellum behind her layer. But I quite like mine as is, I think, so I want to bring that up a little bit, because I don't want to cover up too much of this flower with my sentiment. And you could have the sentiment going over the top, you could have it down here if you wanted to. I quite like that sort of tucked in. What do you think? It's either got to be very close or very far away. Quite like it down there, if only because you get to see those flowers. I wonder what you think. And I wonder if my sending is even straight. Doesn't look it, does it? just lift this a little bit. There we go. That feels better. So what do we reckon? Tight up next to it or in that little gap between the flowers? Let me bring it up so you can see it. So there it is at the bottom. I do wonder if I should have cut that out in a darker colour, because I wonder if it's not really showing up against the grey. I mean, obviously in person you can see it. Brenda says the bottom. Let's see what Tracy thinks. So I might cut out a Mango Melody and just put that on the top. Let's just poke out any of those odd pieces there. Let me grab a piece of Mango Melody. Everybody says the bottom. So I'm just going to cut this one out and apply a little bit of glue to the back of this one. Let me just pop it through the machine. And I'll have to see what it looks like when it comes out. I just think it needs to be a little bit darker. I think if I got a darker grey, it would have stood out a little bit better maybe. Right. I've got my mini machine, but at the moment I have no plates. I put them down somewhere, not very far away. Okay, I'll cut it through on my other machine, which is here. Bear with me, sorry. Left it behind. See what we think. Just think it would stand out a little bit better, assuming I can get it to line up roughly. Just pop that out. So I'm just going to pop a little glue on a spare piece here. And then just dab elements of this onto that. It does, doesn't it? I think Alicia used basic grey card as well, so I think that would stand out too. Okay, see if I can line this up. It could be a disaster, but let's see how it goes. The thing with this sort of thing is just take it slowly, not to rush it, and don't try and put it all down in one go. And that's worked out quite nicely because it's raised it even more. So it's even more 3D. That's much better, isn't it? So now I need to find my little dot. Got one here. Oops, daisy. Tiniest bit. There we go. That's a much better look, isn't it? I can, you know, the fact that I can see it on the camera much better is good. And this one we decided at the bottom, sending a card to say hello, like so. Brilliant. So thank you for your input. Always worthwhile. So I had a delivery today, and that was for the first set of people in my In Colour Club. So it's not too late to join the In Colour Club if you haven't already, and that will get you a selection of the In Colour products. We also have a great joining offer where for your normal £99 you'll get your £130 of product plus £62.50 worth of In Colour products, including the inks and the papers, some grid paper and the cardstock. So if you're interested in the In Colours, you can either do my In Colour Club, which is £30 per month, and that will get you 5 months worth of In Colours with all the components of In Colours. So glimmer paper, you'll get blends pens, you'll get Stampin' Up markers, you'll get inks and the like. Okay, so I'm really pleased with that. It's just something a bit different, and I do like the colourways, like so. And I could stamp a few of these flowers and die cut them and lift those up as well. I won't do it for the purposes of our live demonstration, but that's something I could do and something I might do. Or what I might do is do this in a different colourway and die cut some flowers so that you can see the difference. But I'm really pleased with that. If you like obviously yellows in this case, but you could recreate this really with anything else. And if you've got any other sentiments, so we have thanks and things like that, and you could incorporate that, and obviously you could just stamp the sentiment as well. So there we go. That is the 4th in our series for this week for the Sending Smiles stamp set. So this is our stamp set of the week for this week. We're back at Coffee and Cards tomorrow in Brackley and Monday in Toaster. And I've got a brand new stamp set, which are another one I'm excited to use for that. And I am just going to finish this by adding something to my envelope, because we don't want any naked envelopes, do we? So I'm just going to take the single stamp and the single flower, again in the grey and the Mango Melody, probably. Oops. So it's quite nice to have foliage in a different colour. I haven't got my mat underneath, but I'm hoping that this will be okay. There it is. And then I've got this flower which I'll use in Mango Melody. Excellent. So I'm not planning on being here live tomorrow evening, you never know. And I will be back obviously then live Monday morning, all being well. That's so cute. So I look forward to crafting with you then. Our class in a box for May closes tomorrow. So if you haven't booked and paid for that already, you need to be doing that this evening or tomorrow. There we go. So I've just reversed that round in terms of the colours. And I will also do that on the inside. She says, let's do that now. So if you want to or need to make mail cards, then our May class could be for you. And remember, you can take that as a class in a box and have it delivered to your door. You can come to class at Evenly on the 31st of May, or you can just buy the online version of that. And have access to the video tutorials. So all of those options are available to you. Okay, that's so sweet, those colours. There we are. So we have our envelope, we have our inside, and we have our card. So there's the inside. There's our main card and our coordinating envelope. So there we go. Thank you so much for joining me. I've whittled on enough and I've got 10 minutes or so to get ready for our evening conference. So thank you for joining me. If you want any more information about joining Stampin' Up, we have a lovely, friendly, supportive team. You'd be absolutely welcome to join us. And the majority of my team are hobby demonstrators, so they buy for themselves and they buy at a discount. There's no pressure to sell or to demonstrate. So if you're interested in that, especially with the great offer, just give me a message. If you need a catalogue and haven't got one already, then just message me and I'll get one sent out to you. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the live. If you're watching on replay, whether that's Facebook or on YouTube, if you have any queries or questions, just pop something in the comment box, or you can email me or message me and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much, everybody. If I don't speak to you or see you before, have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.